Namaskar everyone. So do you have release management interview in companies like TCS, JPMorgan, Deloitte, Wipro, Infosys? Then you are at a right place. I have actually consolidated top 10 release manager interview questions and it's star based answer. Star as in situation, task, what are the top 3 actions and result. Let's get started. Question 1 is, tell me about a time when you managed a complex release involving multiple teams. Answer is sure. At XYZ company, I was launching a new enterprise platform. Basically, it is a team who launches something. But when you give interview, you will have to emphasize on your role, what you did as a release manager. That is why I'm emphasizing on I more. So I was launching a new enterprise platform that integrated several tools, CRM, billing, customer support, and impacted around 8 teams globally, including third party vendors. I was responsible for planning and delivering the release across all systems within a 12-week deadline without impacting existing services. What I did, I took three actions. First, I created a comprehensive release schedule using Smartsheet aligning all team milestones. Second, I held dependency mapping workshop to identify integration risk early. Third, I set up a centralized war room in the final week with clear ownership. And as a result, I got 100% success rate on deployment and post release support calls were reduced by 60%. So, this was a well structured star based answer. Second question is, how do you handle last minute changes just before a release? Sure, at XYZ company, a regulatory update was released just 72 hours before our quarterly software deployment. It impacted how sensitive data was logged. My goal was to accommodate the update without derailing the release or introducing defects. I quickly pulled the in legal, security, and development teams for a change impact assessment. I also reprioritized the test suite to include all impacted modules and assigned an emergency QA team. I also reconfigured the deployment sequence to isolate the change, enabling faster rollback if needed. As a result, my team scheduled the release and we got it on time. We met new compliance requirements and later used this approach to build a pre-release change buffer framework. So we introduced the change buffer framework. Question is, describe a time you improved a release process. Improving the release process for predictability. As this is AI time, this question is very important. So answer is sure. When I joined XYZ company, releases were very inconsistent. Some went through multiple approvals, others were rushed, and weekend releases were very normal thing. The team used to work on every weekend. My task was to improve predictability and reduce burnout in the release team. What I did, I took three actions. I conducted interviews with all the stakeholders to map current pain points and delays. Second, I designed and rolled out a standardized release governance model with stage gates and sign offs. Third, I integrated Jenkins with ServiceNow to automate approvals and trackable logs. As a result, release cycle time was dropped by 30%, with over 80% of release completed during business hours within 6 months. Next question is, how do you ensure compliance and audit readiness during release? This is very important question. Please listen carefully. This is about compliance and audit readiness. So answer is sure. In one of our project at XYZ company. Our application handled healthcare data and we were subject to data protection laws. Auditors were scheduled every quarter, so there was very much strict audit aligned. I had to ensure all release artifacts were audit ready without adding manual workload. I took three actions. I embedded a compliance checklist directly into our Jira workflow with mandatory documentation fields. I built a release validation script that checked for completed audit fields before a build could move to staging. I coordinated monthly mock audit internally to ensure preparedness and identified process gaps. As a result, my team passed three consecutive audits with zero non compliance issues, and engineering efforts related to audit was dropped by 50%. So our aim is to not to bother engineers much, and that was successfully by done by almost 50%. Next question, this is very important question. How do you communicate release risk to stakeholders? Stakeholder can be anyone, the one who sponsored the project, your client, or internal or external. So you have to make sure that you communicate risk related to release in very advanced time, on time, and in a strategic way. So answer is showed during a high visibility release at XYZ company, performance testing indicated the application couldn't handle expected traffic. I had to inform business stakeholders and recommend a delay without losing their trust. I took three actions. I built a risk matrix detailing system behavior under load and potential business impact. I presented two alternative rollouts, phased release versus full release with contingency plan. I organized a cross functional workshop to agree on the best course of action and reset expectations. The stakeholders agreed to phase release. The new plan reduced risk and allowed marketing to align their go to market campaign effectively. All right, so this was very important question. Next question is about learning. Okay, so as we all are part of Scrum, and we know that one of the Scrum principle is to fail faster and learn. So this is very important. Please listen this question carefully. Learning from a release failure. Okay, so can you share a time when a release failed? What did you learn? Answer is sure. At XYZ company, we pushed a major feature into production but missed a critical database schema update. This caused the app to crash for all the users. I had to recover operations quickly with prevent feature recurrences, so that it doesn't happen in future again. So I took three actions. One, I initiated an immediate rollback plan using our backup plan stored in the deployment script. Second, I launched a blameless retrospective and discovered the schema change was not in source control. Third, I instituted a mandatory database migration checklist and schema versioning enforcement through CI. So, as a result, no similar incidents occurred after the deployment reliability increased. Teams felt empowered, not blamed. So, this was a generating the trust culture in your team so that everyone can speak frankly about the fails. Next question is, how do you manage offshore and onshore coordination during global releases? This is very important and most commonly asked question to each release manager. At XYZ company, I manage releases with teams spread across the India, UK, and US. Time zones made collaboration a challenge. I had to implement a model that allowed the continuous progress and accountability. So, what I did, I implemented a rotating handover document shared via Confluence for 24 hours update cycles. So, Confluence is open channel. So, if you one updates the document there, second one automatically gets to see that what kind of changes has been done. Second, I conducted asynchronous video updates from leads to keep everyone aligned regardless of working hours. So team has to record the videos of the meeting and make sure it is shared with the other person in the team. Third, and all the some of the important meetings were being managed in the common time zones, and also I set the clear SLAs for issue handoff to maintain the velocity and reduce downtime. So in the SLA itself, it was mentioned that the employee has to work late till this hour, or some in other reason employee has to start working early. So this was clearly mentioned in the SLA, so that 3 to 4 hours of overlap time is available for every member in the team for the meetings or general alignment things. Next question is about conflict management, balancing conflict prioritize. So question can be like, how do you handle conflicting priorities from product, engineering and business team? So in a key release at XYZ company, business pushed for faster delivery while engineering demanded time for technical debt resolution. My task was to strike a balance without jeoparding release, quality, or relationship. Uh, as an action, I took three action. I facilitated a joint session where each team presented impact analysis and effort estimates. I proposed a hybrid release plan, staggered features with immediate and deferred deployment windows. I documented all trade offs decisions and accountability into a release playbook signed off by all parties. I the compromise led to a successful release, and stakeholders reported higher confidence in the future planning. Next question is, how do you ensure continuous improvement in release practices? This is very important. At XYZ company, the release process had no feedback loop, and the same mistakes was getting repeated again and again. My objective was to introduce a learning framework and measurable improvements. I took three actions. I introduced mandatory retrospective focus solely on the release health, not feature delivery. I stabilized KPIs such as defect leakage rate. So one key performance indicator was related to rollback frequency, one was related to baseline performance, one was related to defect leakage rate, and it was getting compared month to month or quarter to quarter. And I also fed insights into our automation roadmap and prioritized automation of the root cause areas. Whatever was the root cause, I made sure it was actually planned well, and within 3 quarters, I saw there was a 40% improvement in deployment reliability, and I received internal recognition for the process improvement. Next question is about, tell me, how do you manage stakeholder expectations when a release date has to move? Okay, so this is about managing stakeholder expectations on release delays. So answer is, a third party vendor at XYZ company missed their integration milestones, affecting our ability to complete end to end testing on time. I had to delay the release while maintaining trust with internal and external stakeholders. I took three actions. I immediately informed all stakeholders with a revised risk log and updated timelines. I suggested releasing unaffected features as a pilot to demonstrate progress. I worked with vendor in daily check-ins to bring them back on track, and updated the dependency tracker continuously. As a result, stakeholders appreciated the transparency, and pilot users reported high satisfaction, and the full release launched smoothly 2 weeks later. So I hope you like this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any question, please do let me know in the comment sections. One more add-on question is interviewers actually asked in the last time, saying that any questions that you have. So you can ask like, what is the release success mechanism in your company? What is the release success rate you are having currently? Or what is your expectation from me in this role in the next 90 days? So these kind of questions you can definitely ask, or you can create a interview pitch for a release manager role. So I can show you one interview pitch also for that. One second. Mm, this is my resume. All right, I got it. So this is my release manager interview pitch that I had created before getting into this role. So I started with the nice cover page, and then wrote some ideas about me. Then, what's my release management philosophy? And this was for Salesforce Copados. So I wrote about that experience, key leadership highlights, why me for this role. So in this way, you can drive the interview. Key metrics, next steps, and thank you note. So this is all in today's video. Let me know if you want me to make videos for program manager, project manager, or release manager, or product manager roles. I will try to do a huge research and create a video on that topic. Till that, have a good day. Bye for now.